Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. All right. Well, I'm ready to go. I'll wait for you to have a seat. And we'll start. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. How are you all? You look good. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Ready to sing? I hope so. I am. I'm definitely ready to sing. I am wound for sound today. I don't know what it's going. It was very strange. I did a lot this morning. I went out with the dog. It's cold. I love it when it's cold. I love the snow. I love shoveling it. I love the whole shebang. I love it. It's actually why I moved up here from Virginia 29 years ago. I love it up here. And last winter was such a letdown for me. So I'm happy we got a little snow. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Michael Goodwin. It is nice to be back. I have been singing professionally since I was 10 years old. So, at least 9 years or 39 years. I went to school for opera. What I specialize in, though, is Broadway, musical theater and jazz, my favorites. It's where my heart is. So if you've never seen one of my programs before, what I do is I sing, I lecture, I show video clips. If you want to sing along, the words are always on the screen. You are welcome to join in. Don't worry if you feel like you're not going to sound like, I don't know, Audra McDonald or something. I'm very loud. You're probably not going to hear you over me anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it. And so today we are doing part 3 of the golden age of musical theater. You don't have to have seen the first 2 parts in order to enjoy today's program. And what I do is I take 4, 5 shows, pluck a couple of really fun songs out of them, and then that's what we're doing today. So we are going to start with one of the most beloved, The King and I, Rodgers and Hammerstein. I love this. This almost did not get made, actually, but we'll get into that in a second. So it is definitely one of the most beloved. It was the 5th musical by Rodgers and Hammerstein together. It's based on the 1944 Anna and the King, the novel by Margaret Langdon, which is actually based on the memoirs by Anna Leon Owens of her time as the governess to the children of King Mongkut of Siam. Anybody know Siam, what we call it today? Thailand, very good. All right, so that was in the 1860s. So imagine traveling completely around to the other side of the world to sort of envelop yourself in a culture that you know very little about. So Anna arrives with her son Louis, who's a little boy at the time, and he's terrified. But Anna refuses to be intimidated. Instead, she whistles a happy tune, and she finds that the happy tune actually helps her fool herself a little bit. So it starts the program, so I figured it would be fun to start with that today. So here we go. Whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and whistle a happy tune, so no one will suspect I'm afraid. While shivering in my shoes, I strike a careless pose and whistle a happy tune, and no one ever knows I'm afraid. The result of this deception is very strange to tell, for when I fool the people I fear, I fool myself as well. I whistle a happy tune, and every single time the happiness in the tune convinces me that I'm not afraid. Make believe you're brave, and the trick will take you far. You may be as brave as you make believe you are. You may be as brave as you make believe you are. Great little song. Thank you. So the musical premiered in March of 1951. So go back to the beginning of 1950, right? So Margaret Landon had, Fanny Holtzman was a theatrical attorney, and she had a client, veteran leading lady Gertrude Lawrence, and she was looking for a vehicle for this star. And so she thought that Landon's book would make a great musical. She approached Rodgers and Hammerstein, and actually, they turned it down. They weren't really that interested. But what ended up happening is she happened to be friends with the real power, which was Oscar Hammerstein's wife. And so she convinced her to read the book and then said, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, wouldn't this make a great musical? So Mrs. Hammerstein went to work as only a wife can, and Oscar convinced Rodgers that it would make a great musical. They actually wanted Rex Harrison to play the part of the king. He had played the part when they had done the play version of the book, but he was unavailable. So they settled for a relatively unknown actor/director, Yul Brynner. So it came to Broadway, wide expectation of being a hit by critics, of course, and the public. And Rodgers and Hammerstein were a little concerned. The composer complained that most people didn't care whether or not it was good, but was it better than South Pacific? The show ran for nearly 3 years, setting a record for the theater and becoming the 4th longest running Broadway show in history at the time, so not too shabby. Now, Yul Brynner turned in an outstanding performance. He nearly stole the show. And Margaret Landon knew that they had been, I do this every time, Gertrude Lawrence knew that the cast had been a little concerned. She'd been a little ill during rehearsals, but John Van Druten, the director, described opening night performance as putting all fears to rest. She came on the stage with a new and dazzling quality, as if an extra power had been granted to the brilliance of her stage light. She was radiant and wonderful. Now, you have to keep in mind, she was wearing dresses that weighed 75 pounds. She had to dance and walk around that stage for 3.5 hours for a total of 4 miles. And she had to do this 8 times a week. I think I would be pretty exhausted myself. So by Christmas, she was actually battling pleurisy and fainted during a matinee and was brought to the hospital. And while she was there, she asked that Yul Brynner's name be put at the top of the marquee, which kind of ensured his rise to stardom, because at the time, the top, that was where you wanted to be. It kind of made your career. Very generous. She went into a coma, and she actually died in 1952. She was only 54 years old. It wasn't until her autopsy that they discovered she had liver cancer, and they don't even think that she knew that she had liver cancer. So on the day of her funeral, the performances of The King and I were canceled. The lights of Broadway and London's West End were dimmed in honor, and she was buried in the ball gown that she wore in the second act, which we all, of course, know that ball gown very well. So, since we've gotten to know a little bit about her, I figured we could sing Getting to Know You. Now, the picture you'll see in the background, this is the actual palace where they lived. So, not too shabby, right? It's a very ancient saying, but a true and honest thought, that if you become a teacher, by your pupils, you'll be taught. As a teacher, I've been learning. You'll forgive me if I boast. But I've now become an expert on the subject I like most. Getting to know you. Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you. Getting to like you, getting to hope you like me. Getting to know you, putting it my way, but nicely. You're precisely my cup of tea. Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy. When I'm with you, getting to know what to say. Haven't you noticed, suddenly I'm bright and breezy because of all the beautiful and new things I'm learning about you day by day. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you. You can sing if you want to. Getting to like you, getting to know you like me. Getting to know you, putting it my way, but nicely. You're precisely. Hey! Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy. When I am with you, getting to know what to say. Haven't you noticed? Suddenly I'm bright and breezy because of all the beautiful and new things I'm learning about you day by day. Hey, cute little song. Would you like me to?
That was the actual palace.
That is the actual palace. Yep, correct, exactly. Yep. Oh, you're fine. No worries. I'd rather have you join. Welcome. All right, so the song "Shall We Dance" it comes about when Anna and the king kind of have a conflict of love's meaning. The king believes that love is just a simplicity. It's a pleasant simplicity and a silly complication and a fairy tale. And Anna, of course, believes that love is real and natural. So after he sings the song of the king, expressing his viewpoint, Anna starts singing about her own experience at love at first sight and gets caught up in the experience and actually she catches herself dancing in front of a man alone in a room, which of course in the 1860s, no respectable woman would ever do that. Now, the song itself is known for the dance that they do together, which is technically a polka. But because the king takes these huge leaping strides across the stage, it's way more than a polka. And it has actually made the list of the American Film Institute's top 100 scenes. It's actually number 54 in most influential songs or scenes in a movie. So I figured we could watch them do it together.
We've just been introduced.
Deborah Kerr,
well,
sung by
but when the music started,
Marty Nixon.
To your side.
Come. We'll do it together.
Such a great scene. I love that scene. All right, Gypsy, a little change of pace. So 1959 musical, music by Julie Stein, lyrics by Stephen Sondheim in his first outing. So he really wanted to write his own musicals. Oscar Hammerstein, had been his mentor. He actually used to spend summers with the family. And he said, you're not ready for your own show yet, but your lyrics are fantastic. So he actually hooked him up with this gig. And then he also this was his second outing. The first outing was West Side Story, of course. So Arthur Lawrence did the book, and it's based on the 1957 memoir by Gypsy Rose Lee, the famous burlesque dancer, striptease artist. And the show focuses really on Mama Rose, whose name has become synonymous with being the ultimate showbiz mother. Now, it casts a rather affectionate eye, let's say, on the show business life. Rose is raising two daughters on the vaudeville circuits. Louise is the older sister. She's the one with the dark hair. And she is Gypsy Rose Lee later in life. Her little sister is June, the blonde. That's actually Rose's youngest daughter, June, who is the actress June Havoc. Now, June is the extroverted, talented child star, and Louise, by her own admission, doesn't really have a lot of talents. The Kitty Act has one song, Let Me Entertain You, which Rose wrote, and she uses it and recycles it many, many times. Louise is often cast as one of the boys, while June, of course, is front and center. Really good, isn't she? The little girl's really excellent. Perfect casting for the part. Now, Gypsy has been referred to, particularly in 1959, as the greatest of all American musicals. Frank Rich wrote in the Times that Gypsy is nothing if not Broadway's own brassy, unlikely answer to King Lear. Now, Mama Rose has been described as one of the few truly complex characters in the American musical, which really makes sense, especially back then. If you think about the women characters were pretty two-dimensional up until this point. And some of the greatest Broadway actresses of all time have played the part. Now, in the story, June is offered a place at a performing arts school. Would you like to come up? There's a seat right up front. Are you good back there? Okay, great. So Rose, of course, turns this down flat. She has no intention of breaking up the act. One of the boys, remember, they're older now. They're kind of teenagers now. The show is getting a little stale, and he confides in Louise that he's actually been working on an act of his own. She starts fantasizing that she and the boy can do the act together. Then June goes missing. She leaves a note for her mother explaining that she has run off with the boy because she is sick and tired of Rose's absolute control over everything. Louise is brokenhearted. Rose is actually brokenhearted, but she's very resilient and a little something. And so she turns her full focus on poor Louise, saying in that Sondheim way, everything's coming up roses, everything's coming up roses, because it's her show. Very, very clever wordplay there. So here we go. I had a dream about you, baby. It's gonna come true, baby. They think that we're through, but baby, you'll be swell, you'll be great. Gonna have the whole world on a plate. Starting here, starting now, honey, everything's coming up roses. Clear the decks, clear the tracks. You got nothing to do but relax. Blow a kiss, take a bow, honey, everything's coming up roses. Now's your inning. Stand the world on its ear. Set it spinning. That'll be just the beginning. Curtain up, light the lights. You got nothing to hit but the heights. You'll be swell, you'll be great. I can tell, just you wait. That lucky star I talk about is due. Honey, everything's coming up roses for me and for you. You can do it. All you need is a hand. We can do it. Mama is gonna see to it. Curtain up, light the lights. You got nothing to hit but the heights. I can tell, wait and see. There's the bell, come with me. And nothing's gonna stop us till we're through. honey, everything's coming up. Roses and daffodils, everything's coming up. Sunshine and Santa Claus, everything's gotta be bright lights and lollipops. Everything's coming up. Roses for me and for you. Great piece of music, that. So good. All right, guys and dolls, one of my favorites. I love this show. All right, so it's music and lyrics by Frank Lesser, book by Joe Swirling and Abe Burrows, and I thought we would open with a little fugue for tin horns. So the show is based on The Idol of Miss Sarah Brown and Blood Pressure, which are two short stories by Damon Runyon. And he also uses some things from a few other ones, including Pick the Winner, most notably really Pick the Winner. It was selected as the winner of the Pulitzer Prize for 1951. However, Abe Burrows was being investigated by the House Un-American Activities Committee, so Columbia withdrew the nomination and actually did not give one for a Pulitzer for drama that year. He did, however, end up winning it in the 60s for How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. All right, so in the film version, Marlon Brando played ostensibly the lead, Sky Masterson, as part of his contract with the studio. Terrible idea. I mean, they wanted to capitalize on Marlon Brando being Marlon Brando, but a musical for Marlon Brando? Not the best idea. And apparently, he was miserable during the filming of the show. He was, however, with Frank Sinatra. So the character that he played, Sky Masterson, gets to sing the song Luck Be a Lady, which, as we all know, Frank Sinatra made very popular when he recorded it himself. So I'm going to sing it for you because I love this song, and I've got to perform this many times, and I love it. So here we go. They call you Lady Luck, but there's room for doubt. At times you have a very unladylike way of running out. You're on this date with me. The pickings have been lush. And yet, before the evening is over, you might give me the brush. You might forget your manners. You might refuse to stay. And so the best that I can do is pray. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck let a gentleman see how nice a dame you can be. I know the way you've treated other guys you've been with. Luck be a lady with me. A lady doesn't leave her escort. It isn't fair, it isn't nice. A lady doesn't wander all over the room and blow on some other guy's dice. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby, I'm the fella you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck let a gentleman see how nice a dame you can be. I know the way you treated other guys you've been with. Luck be a lady with me. A lady wouldn't flirt with strangers. She'd have a heart, she'd have a soul. A lady wouldn't make little snake eyes at me when I bet my life on this roll. So let's keep the the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby, I'm the fella you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Tonight. Ha! Thank you. That's a fun little song. Thank you, thank you. So for those of you who are standing in the back, we do have a couple of seats here if you'd like, and one in the way back and one here in the middle, if you would like to have a seat. No, you're good? Okay, great, fine. All right, so the finale, the big finale song, Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. I've actually never gotten to perform this because I've only played Sky, poor me. And Nicely, Nicely Johnson is the one who actually sings this song, and it is a showstopper. So all of the guys get caught in the basement of the Salvation Army gambling. And so he is the one who's put on the spot with getting them out of it. So he starts talking about a dream he had. I dreamed last night I was on a boat to heaven, and by some chance I had brought my dice along, and there I stood, and I hollered, someone fade me. But the passengers, they knew right from wrong, and the people all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat. People all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat. And the devil will drag you under by the sharp lapel of your checkered coat. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. I sailed away on that little boat to heaven, and by some chance found a bottle in my fist, and there I stood, nicely passing out the whiskey. But the passengers were bound to resist, for the people all said, beware, you're on a heavenly trip. People all said, beware, you'll scuttle the ship. And the devil will drag you under by that fancy tie round your wicked throat. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. Yeah. And as I laughed at those passengers to heaven, a great big wave came and washed me overboard. And as I sank and I hollered, someone save me! That's the moment I woke up. Thank the Lord. And I said to myself, sit down, you're rocking the boat. I said to myself, sit down, you're rocking the boat. And the devil will drag you under with a soul so heavy you'll never float. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. Sit down, you're rocking, you're rocking the boat. Sit down, you're rocking, you're rocking the boat. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. What a great song that is, isn't it? I love it. Thank you. All right, so a little more devil talk with Damn Yankees. So Faust meets baseball in 1955 with the musical Damn Yankees, which is actually based on a novel, The Year the Yankees Lost the Pennant by Douglas Wallop. So it takes place in the 50s in Washington, D.C., when the Yankees were dominating baseball, which, seems to be a common theme sometimes. Joe Boyd is a long-suffering fan of the pathetic Washington Senators baseball team, and he sits up late at night, he grumbles, I'd sell my soul for a long ball hitter. Appleby comes and knocks on the door, a slick salesman who just happens to be the devil in disguise. Not only will he give the Senators a long ball hitter, it's gonna be Joe Boyd himself, made younger and handsome, and in the movie, played by Tab Hunter. Not a bad deal, but first he has to get discovered. And Ray Allen plays the reporter. She sings the song Shoeless Joe from Hannibal Moe. So I'm going to give myself a little break vocally. We're going to see a big dance number. Then we're going to see Whatever Lola Wants, because I love that song. So here we go. Great dance number, isn't it? I love that. All right, so Adler and Ross wrote this musical, and they had great success with this and before The Pajama Game. It pointed to a bright future for them as a writing duo. Unfortunately, Ross died from chronic bronchiectasis at the age of 29, cutting that partnership really close, which is really very sad, I think. All right, anybody know who choreographed the movie? Who said that? Bob Fosse, that's right, which leads into Gwen Verdon, where he met Gwen Verdon. This is actually, they got married after working on this movie together. So in the story, Joe starts to miss his wife, and the devil cannot have that. So he brings in Lola, the best homewrecker on his staff, to whom he introduces Joe as Señorita Lolita Banana. Now, she, of course, fails in her attempt, but we do get to see her try to seduce Joe in the greatest song, Whatever Lola Wants. I love this song, and she's so good, I think.
And do like Lola tells you to do.
Yeah, it's just a marvelous dance. So, I did this program a couple of weeks ago, and someone said, but it wasn't very sexy. It was more funny. I said, exactly. That was the whole point. The way through a man's heart is through his funny bone, clearly. All right, yeah, right, both. All right, here we go. The Sound of Music. Come on, this is how you have to end, right? So 1959, starring Mary Martin and Theodore Bikel. It was up for 9 Tonys, winning 5, including Best Musical. Numerous productions and revivals since then. It was opened in London's West End in 1961, then the 1965 movie starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer. That actually was up for Academy Awards as well. It was the last show written by Rodgers and Hammerstein as a duo. Hammerstein actually died of cancer about 9 months after the show opened, which was really unexpected because it was Rodgers who had had 3 bouts of throat cancer. So they figured he would be the one, but it actually was Hammerstein, which was really kind of a surprise to everybody. All right, so this next clip is a combination. We're gonna see the movie with Julie Andrews, but don't pay attention to what she's doing with her mouth because I'm gonna sing it and it's a little different than the movie version. But I had to show it because it's so pretty. Are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung for 1,000 years. The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song it hears. My heart wants to beat like the wings of the birds that rise from the lakes to the trees. My heart wants to sigh like a chime that flies from a church on a breeze, to laugh like a brook when it trips and falls over stones on its way, to sing through the night like a lark who is learning to pray. I go to the hills when my heart is lonely. I know I will hear what I've heard before. My heart will be blessed with the sound of music, and I'll sing once more. A great little song, isn't it? All right, now, near the end of Act 1, the children are allowed to sing So Long Farewell. They're allowed to say goodnight to their guests. Now, the movie, if the movie's the only thing you've seen, you've never seen the live version, or it's been a while since you've seen the live version, the construction of the show is a little different at this point. So Maria has fallen in love with the captain. The children start to sing, and in the live version, she actually escapes out of the house and leaves the house at this point, because the Countess is also there, and she doesn't want to interfere in the captain and the Countess's relationship. Plus, she's feeling a little guilty about this because she's, wants to be a nun. So she escapes, which is different than the movie. Now, in the movie version, the eldest boy had to have his costumes remade 3 times while they were filming because he grew 6 inches while they were filming the show. So if you watch the movie again, pay attention because you'll see sometimes he's taller than Liesel, sometimes he's shorter than Liesel, and sometimes they're the same height. It's really funny. So here we go. I always loved this when I was a kid. A great little song. I love it. All right, so back at the Abbey, Maria says that she is ready to take her monastic vows, but Mother Abbess realizes that she's kind of running away from something. So she tells her to face the captain and discover if they love each other, and tells her to search for and find the life she was meant to live. Climb every mountain. I mean, come on. That is not a song. That's, I'll try not to knock you out of your chairs. dream that will need all the love you can give. Every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. A dream that will need all the love you can give. Every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your Thank you for letting me show off just a little bit. I appreciate that. All right, our last song of the day is the song that helps the family escape, Edelweiss. It's when the captain actually sings it the first time with the kids. We'll even let Christopher Plummer join us. So here we go.
Children, who should we hear from next? The vote is unanimous. You, Captain.
Me? I don't understand.
Please. I'm told that a long time ago you were quite good.
Well, that was a very, very, very long time ago.
I remember, Father. Play us something we know. Father.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
What?
To bring along my harmonica.
Every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, bless my homeland Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. The fastest hour in town. So I'm actually going to be back next month, which is unusual. I'm usually every other month, but we are scheduled in February. We're going to do part 4, which is unusual as well. It is The Music Man and West Side Story. That's all I talk about because they came in that same year. And so I compare them side by side. And it's really, I love that program. So I hope to see you all there, except for you two who are going to be on a cruise. But everybody else, I hope to see you there. And until next month, mwah, hugs and kisses from a distance. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.